let's go to our new segment, new old reviews.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You were supposed to start this
I know
segment.
you beat me to it. Oh, I got it. Okay, all right. It's on my radar. I'm gonna do it. Bad Boys 3 review coming soon.
At this rate, Bad Boys 4 will come out before you do the review.
That's I know. That's why I'm like, okay, I gotta do it because Bad Boys
Yeah, it
4
comes out next month.
is coming out next month. So yes. You did the assignment. You said that you were going to watch American Crime Story,
Impeachment.
um, Impeachment, the Monica Lewinsky story.
Yeah.
It's an FX show, but you know, FX and Hulu have that collab, so you can also catch it on Hulu.
Yeah.
And you watched it.
I did. I have Hulu. I discovered I have ad-free Hulu. I didn't even know that. So I was
That's
like waiting
nice.
for ads. Thanks, I paid for it.
Oh,
But
send the Addy.
send the addy. No.
I don't think
You
I have
enjoy your
ad free Hulu.
you enjoy your ads, okay? I pay for my no ad
Listen,
Hulu.
ads pay my bills, so you know it's all good over here. I'm never mad at an
I
ad.
hate I hate sitting through ads. They make things so much longer. Like even as a kid, when it'd be like, "Oh, we're watching TV," and you scrolling, it'd be like, "Oh, look, such and such movies on." I'm like, "No, it's on TV. It's about to take us the whole day to watch this. I'm good."
Ads are how I pay for Hardly Headquarters. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I hear you. Um. Anyway, so I watched it. I didn't expect this to be 10 episodes. That was long.
I didn't expect you to watch 10 episodes so quickly.
I said I was gonna watch it, so and I had some free time, so I was like, all right, an episode here, half an episode there. One episode I watched in like 4 pieces. Like I was like, all right, 15 minutes. All right, gotta go. And I came back and was all right, another 15 minutes. All right, gotta go. Um, but I finished it yesterday. Um, finished it yesterday right before going to work actually. After our pod, I threw it on. Finished up that last episode, which was like an hour and a half. And I was like, yeah, motherfuckers fooled me. I didn't know this was gonna be this long. Um,
Yeah.
all right. First, I want to say, man, the one thing I walked away from this show with is I feel bad for Monica. And that was really interesting because this happened when I was like 10 years old, right?
We were
So
young.
at 10, you don't know too much. And as we got a little older, we learned, oh, that's what was going on.
You got little
Wow.
sprinkles of over time. You got
Right.
little sprinkles of what really happened, or certain things that you heard as a youngster started to make sense. Like you knew
Right.
about the blue dress, you just didn't really know what that meant. You
Oh, I
knew,
knew about the stain on the blue dress.
right? But I
I
feel
knew it
like
was a cum stain on the blue dress.
okay. Well, I don't know that I knew that, but
I did. I learned that as a teenager because I was like, why everybody keep referencing this damn dress? And they're like, he came on her dress. It's like, oh,
no
right.
one said that to me. So
Probably best they did.
so, but like even some of the catchphrases that come from Bill Clinton from that time period, things that people kind of say in casual conversation, maybe not so much now, but after that happened, um, I feel like it all became a lot clearer over the years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I knew Monica had a book, but I forgot. I'll be honest. Until I was watching the show, and I was
people
like, oh
hated
yeah, she
about
had
that.
a book. That's right.
People
Yeah,
hated
she had a
that.
book. What was that?
People hated when she put out that book. That I remember. I remember her putting out the book several years ago, and people were so upset with her. People made it seem like she should have just like gone away quietly and not be seen or heard from again. She's definitely been shamed publicly, and like people just are like, "What do you even do?" I mean, there were certain things she was showing up for that I was confused about, but like she was getting invited to places that I was like, how did that happen? But you also learned that she came from money, so it wasn't like she was connected before she went to the White House anyway. But anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to hijack your review.
Well, it's all good conversation. Um, yeah. So you feel bad for Monica watching this show. You like, man, what a poor young person. Like, poor young kid,
Mm-hmm.
and just learning about her history and stuff. It's like, wow, so sad. Um,
Yeah.
I also was like, I know this actress. What do I know her from? And she's actually been in quite a few things that I've seen. So I was like, oh, okay. And some stuff I haven't seen, but I just knew about.
Mm-hmm.
So she did her thing. I think everyone involved did a great job. I don't know everyone's name. I'm not good with actors and actresses' names. But everyone did a phenomenal job. The one person that did stand out was the dude who played Bill Clinton. I was like, oh, I know who this is. Immediately when I saw him, I was like, hey, ain't that guy? It is
that
that
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
It is that guy. And as soon as the credits came up, I saw his name. I was like, see, I know it's that guy. Um,
You still don't remember who it is?
I got it right here,
It's okay. You
actually.
don't have to look it up. But I just think it's funny that you're like, yeah, I know. I saw the credits, but
His name is Owens, something Owens.
you never told us who it was.
Um, the Assassination of Monica Lewinsky. That's not what the name of the show is. IMDb has the show named wrong. It's called Impeachment, but it's on IMDb as The Assassination of Monica Lewinsky. Sarah Paulson as Linda Tripp, Beanie
Sarah Paulson did a
Feldstein,
great job.
Beanie Feldstein as Monica Lewinsky, Anna Leigh Ashford as Paula Jones, Clive Owen, that's his name. He plays Bill Clinton,
Mm-hmm.
not William Jefferson Clinton. That's funny. What's my girl who played Hillary? What's her name? Let me see.
Edie Falco.
If you say so.
I'm telling you, it was Edie Falco.
All right.
Also, the wife from The Sopranos and Nurse Jackie
She
and
was definitely, yep. Mhm.
a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it was Edie Falco.
Yeah, I know her from Oz. That's where I know her from. HBO show Oz. The
Mm-hmm.
original Orange is the New Black. You know what I mean?
There you
Yeah,
go.
Edie Falco. Yeah, I zipped right past her because I was looking for Clive Owen. Um, yeah, everyone did a great job. I was
Mm-hmm.
excited to see this cast and the way that they did their thing. And I just learned a lot from this show. I didn't know that Paula Jones did all that stuff. Wait, Paula Jones? No, Linda Tripp. Sorry, I didn't know Linda Tripp was so grimy. Oh my god! And she really was on some like, I'm gonna be a hero. Like, I'm gonna, I have to stop this. But really, it was her trauma. We find out later on.
She was a
It was
very
because she
sad,
had a no
unhappy
good,
woman.
yeah, and she had a no good cheating daddy,
Yep.
and was like, nah, the world got to know about cheaters. And it really ain't have shit to do with the president or Monica. It had to do with her own unhealed trauma.
She was unhealed and unhinged.
Yeah, she was really weird. And you know, again, the actors and actresses all did their thing. It just was like, what's up with this lady, man? This lady is like a bitter Betty.
Oh,
And
bitter is not even the word. Like at first, when you first started, you think she's bitter. At least this is the way I saw it. By the end of it, you're like, what is wrong with you?
yeah. Then she got surgery at the end. I was like, what was surgery supposed to do? Like, surgery fixed this. It didn't fix inside.
No, and that's I think that was always her problem is that she was not dealing with what was going on inside.
Yeah.
That's why I said she's a very sad and unhappy woman, and
Yeah, no, you're right.
that came out very easily once the story went on. It was like I didn't realize. I remember watching this and calling my mom and being like, "What a bitch!"
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
usually say something like that to my mom, but I called her. I said, "Oh my gosh, is this real?" And
Right.
she was
And I
like,
called you, full transparency. I
yeah,
called you, was like, this bitch is taping her.
right, right. But I called my mom and I was like, is this accurate? I mean, you weren't there, but
Right.
you were a full blown adult, so you and
Have
who
more,
loves the
more, yeah.
news. So I know you were following along. And she's like, oh yeah, that was yep, that's accurate. She was like, yeah, everybody thought that something was up with that lady. When I said, oh okay, all right, yeah, because something was up with that lady.
Yeah. And that's the next thing I was going to say, which we're jumping around a lot. But one of the things that you said, I kept thinking to myself as I was watching the show, how much of this is accurate,
Mhm.
right? Because this is not a doc, this is a show.
Right.
And so we know that this is based on a true story and all that stuff, but we also know that they have creative rights. They have freedom to kind of,
Yeah, and they did
mess
that.
around. And some of the intimate conversations, like a lot of the stuff with Bill Clinton, I was like, is this true? Like, this really what he was saying to people? This really like it was weird.
I think it's probably
But I felt
easy to prove the Bill Clinton stuff because nothing is really secure, right? Like there's yes, his lines get closed and whatever, but I'm sure that information goes somewhere. Um,
I don't think so because I'm talking about private conversations, not like presidential decisions. So like
oh,
a lot of the private conversations he was having and things he was saying in the show, I was like, is this really like he was like this? Like they really made him look like a sucker. And I thought that was interesting. I'm not saying it's true or not true. That's my whole point. I wonder how
mhm.
much of it is true. Now, like I started thinking about that with the Linda Tripp and the Monica Lewinsky conversations, but then later on in the show, you find out the tapes were made available. And so I'm
Right.
like, oh, if the
So
tapes were available, then I would assume most of that is accurate because niggas got the tapes.
right, and what I meant about Bill Clinton is that, like when he had phone conversations and things like that,
Mhm.
I wonder how hard it is to dig that up. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not talking about on the phone.
yeah,
I understand your point.
that's why I meant, like, yes, I know that his lines are closed. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how it works with the president. Like, the president could call you and that line can be secured, but how secure is it, right? Where does that information go with the secured
Right.
line and whatever? I mean, wiretapping is a real thing.
Of course.
So, and he's the president of the United States. It's
Hmm.
probably
Yeah.
not that hard to find out, or find recording devices or things like that that capture what the president said.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. And all the Paula Jones stuff, I remember hearing the name Paula Jones a lot
Hmm.
as a kid.
Yeah,
But I didn't know the importance of Paula Jones. Damn, nobody even put their finger up.
I
Apple
was
was
just
fucking-
I was just drinking.
can't even drink your water anymore.
Didn't even drink
Uh,
my water.
yeah, I wonder the importance of. Excuse me, I didn't know the importance of Paula Jones in all of this. I just, as a kid, remember hearing. I remember hearing as a kid the name Paula Jones a lot, but I didn't know how prevalent it was to all of this. That all of this started from the Paula Jones stuff. And that was really interesting. It's also really interesting to see how so many of the characters kind of go through these changes along this story, right?
Yeah.
That's for Paula Jones, that's for Monica, that's for Bill, that's for Linda Tripp, that's for Hillary. I did not know Hillary became senator right after this. I thought Hillary became a senator way later.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
one of the things that people have had a problem with is, well, like, it was twofold for Hillary. There was the, oh, stand by your man? Really? You let him do that? You fool. And then there was, oh, stand by your man. You're really dedicated. How amazing. But think about it, being in that world of politics, and because the feminists don't like you,
Right.
they think that you've succumbed to that man's wills. Um, so Hillary is actually a really interesting figure, like in the show and off the show, just because
Yeah.
it's complicated when you talk about Hillary.
Oh, it's always been complicated when you talk about Hitler. Yeah.
Like it's so she's such a layered human being, like just in any context, because of Bill Clinton, because of her own politics, because of her involvement in
Yeah.
the White House that came after the one she was first lady to. Like I just think she's one of the most fascinating people to me. Um but yeah, that happened right after.
Yeah, that was interesting. Paula Jones did Hustler. That was crazy. I
Yeah.
was like, they're lying. Hold on, this is crazy. They're not telling the truth. Oh, they
But
are
that was
telling the
like
truth.
the 90s version of, I mean,
Yes.
people kind of do that now, but with other platforms.
Yeah. It's so interesting. And also I read and I couldn't find what was the end result. I didn't do a deep dive. I just did a quick search.
Mhm.
Online it was saying that she did end up getting an $850,000 settlement, but that wasn't in the show. So I don't know if that's true. It said later on she ended up getting $850,000, but that wasn't in the show. So I don't know. I got to do a deeper dive and see if that was true. If you're at home watching this or listening to this and you know the answer, put it in the comments for us, please, because I did a quick Google search while I was watching the ending of the show, and I didn't see that in the show, but it said online she got $850,000 later on. And that the other lady at the end, I don't remember her name, but the lady who says that she was a victim of SA, that she did like the Dateline interview and stuff like that. That in the lawsuit she was just an addendum at the bottom or whatever. It says she ended up getting a settlement too. Um, Go ahead, come on.
No, I wanted to ask you something. So you said, um, you said that Bill Clinton was a sucker.
Well, they were making him look like that, like in the show. Okay, it was interesting. I know you got a question, but
Go ahead.
let me just say this. It was interesting because at one point of the show, it's like he's this powerful guy. He's almost like a god because you're
Yeah.
looking at him kind of through Monica's eyes at the time.
Right.
As the show progresses, that changes to a womanizer who couldn't succeed without his woman, even though he keeps playing her. And as the show progressed is when they start making him look like a sucker. In the beginning, they paint him as this huge figure,
Hmm.
a god who maybe made a mistake with Paula Jones, right? Maybe in the beginning of the show. As the show progresses, though, it's like this guy's a sucker. He's nasty to women, and really, he can't do anything without his woman. Even the joke at his dinner party, um, that he tried to tell as a joke, she kind of, in the way they did it, it was kind of like, yeah, nigga, I could do this shit myself. But in the dinner party for his birthday, he says, we were in Arkansas. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, we were in Arkansas and we saw a guy Hillary used to date. And when he walked away, I said, hey, you know that guy? And she said, yeah, I used to date him or whatever. And she said, you know, he said, if you stood with him, and Hillary cut him off and said, if I stood with him, he'd be president. And it was like, oh, okay. So this was not a new thought. Like you've been felt like you could have ran shit.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have said that she was the brains behind his presidency.
That's what the show kind of makes clear as the show progresses. And so that's what I mean by sucker. Like there's even a scene where he's crying in the Oval Office after the Monica Lewinsky stuff comes out in detail. and he's confessing to her and saying he's sorry and all this stuff. And he says, I couldn't be here without you. I never would have made it this far without you. Which I think is cool that he's being honest and transparent and vulnerable with his woman. But even that scene is there in the show to make it look like this guy's a sucker. He's weak. Which is how the media kind of portrayed him as a president, right? Like if you remember, um, or even if you just look back, a lot of the things with Bill was that he was too soft of a president. That's kind of his rep. That he was the person black people liked. He liked to smoke weed and get head, and so he was cool, but he was soft as a president. It's
Right.
kind of the reputation, and so you see more of that as the show goes on.
Yeah. Yeah. I
What's your question?
yeah, socially he was, especially by the black community, people embraced him. But
Because the
my,
rep was like, yeah, everybody liked to get head and smoke weed.
right, it was like he's a cool guy, he has swagger, whatever that means, and
Right.
yeah, which conversation for another day. But question is, so after finding out, all these things that came afterwards, whether it was with Monica or the other women, or what what did you think what do you think of him? Also, there's a scene that I kind of alluded to at one point. We were talking about it off pod before you finished, and there's a scene where he does his deposition and he's interrogated.
Oh, that was episode 5. Probably the best episode.
My
He
favorite
fucking
episode.
played them.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, he played them like a flute, like an instrument with such finesse. Oh man, people today like to use the word finessing people. Man, he finessed the hell out of them.
Yeah.
They asking him questions. He said, actually, it's probably better if I read my statement. Hold on. I have a prepared statement. And then was like, yep, y'all want this? Y'all want this statement? Y'all want to keep this?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was great. Go ahead, but what's your question? I'm sorry.
But what did you think of him? Like, what did you come? Because you're saying you came away that you're saying that people had all of these opinions of him afterwards, and you even talked about what you thought of Linda Tripp and what you thought of Monica Lewinsky, like
Mhm.
the your personal feelings on walking away from watching that. What did you think
Mhm.
about Bill Clinton? Like at the end of it, I don't know what your opinion of him was before, but I'm just curious. What was your opinion of him at the end of all of this?
Oh, Bill got problems. That's what I came away with it. I came away with it was Bill has I came away with more thoughts, more questions than final thoughts, right? It was like,
Mhm.
man, if he did all this stuff to other women, whether it was SA or not, just the fact that it was adultery
Okay.
over years and years and years, because the first one was from the 70s. And this took place in the 90s and the late 90s, right? Starts
Mhm.
in 92, ends in like 2000. And man, to deal with 30 years of adultery and not have like an open relationship or polyamory or anything like that, that's wild. And I get it. It made me think of the show House of Cards, which I love, which it had a lot of similar themes, obviously.
Mhm.
But it's like, here's this person who's gaining power, and you have this partnership, which is what they said in the show, right? They say, like, basically, they had an agreement, they're a power couple, they are doing things as a team, which I think is super fly. But he keeps breaking the rules of what y'all have. How do you stay with this dude this long? And I get it. There's a scene in the show where she's like, I can't leave you now because I will forever be known as the woman who left the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And she was right. At that point, it was a catch 22. But there was so much stuff before that.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me um, that she stood, right? It made me really question, like, I would love to sit and have a chat with Hillary Clinton
Is she
and
still
ask
here?
her, she's still here? Yeah, but she ain't taking my phone call. But I would love to have a chat with Hillary and just pick her brain because I know a lot of this was built on, the goals that they had, the power they were trying to attain. But the show really made me have questions for Hillary because Bill clearly is a foul dude, right? Like he's foul. Even if it's not SA, which it seemed like some of them definitely were SA, even if you take that off the table, I don't think you should, but even if you took that off the table,
Hmm.
he's still a foul dude.
Oh yeah, because you could think, just forget about everyone else, everything else. Thinking about just the Monica Lewinsky of it all, she was young. He was the president. Like there was nothing appropriate about their relationship.
He kept
Nothing.
wearing the ties.
There was nothing appropriate about that relationship.
Yo, why the nigga kept wearing the ties?
Because
Every time,
because
every
niggas
time
are
she was,
dumb.
every time they would show him, and she's like, "I bought him that tie." I'm like, "Yo, stop wearing the ties, nigga.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
But that's what
Why
it
do you keep
was.
wearing those
But
ties?"
it made him feel good that he
Oh
could
my
wear the
god,
tie and
what a
signal to her,
scumbag!
uh-huh, yep.
Yo, straight up dirtbag, nigga, wearing the ties on national TV. He ain't even wearing them to like brunch or dinner with his friends. My man is at press conferences with the ties on, like addressing the nation with the tie on. She just like, I bought him that tie. I bought him that tie when I went to LA to visit my mom. I bought him that tie when I was in New York right after I did such and such. I'm like, yo, stop wearing the ties. What's wrong with you?
So I'm very much a believer that things are just things, right? But there are certain things that some people end up memorializing or creating symbols behind. Because, I mean, the reason I say that is because if we, if every time somebody gave you a gift, you made it so sentimental in your mind and in your heart that when they go away, now you can't enjoy the gift. I just think that's whack. Like,
I understand.
if somebody gives me something, it's not to say that things are not important or things are not sentimental, but I think there is, I think you can disconnect from things. We don't all do it, but you can.
Yes.
But what he was doing was not disconnecting. Like, what he was doing was actually trying to assign meaning to it. And
And the other thing
that's what,
is, what's foul, what's even more foul is you're under investigation.
right, you're under
They
investigation.
even
Like,
brought
your
up the
wife is
ties. They're
right
like,
there.
did Monica Lewinsky ever buy you ties? This nigga finessed them. A lot of people buy me ties. I was like, yo, this nigga, let me tell you something about Bill Clinton in the show. I don't know him personally, but in the show, that dude didn't give a F about anybody or anything.
But himself.
It was like, yo, what you need? You need me to go lie to everybody? All right. You need me to lie to the grand jury? All right. You need me to lie on camera? All right. Whatever.
And and remember that presidential power is like nothing else.
Right.
This is why Donald Trump walks the streets like he's done nothing wrong,
Yeah.
because of the fact that presidential power is that powerful. You can be impeached and all of that, yes, but does it really hold that much weight? Most of the time, no. Nothing will come of it. It's just kind of going through the motions because it's, you know, constitutionally, you can,
Shit is crazy.
certain things are in place. But he was foul and he was
But was he criminal?
disrespectful. Well, okay, so that's always been the question. The question has been, did he do something that was criminal or was he just a foul individual? And
Because when I'm saying when he was president, because
when he was president, yeah.
The SA was in the 70s,
Right.
right?
And
And
that's
then
criminal, right?
Paula Jones was 92 or something. He was mayor.
Hmm.
But I'm just asking, as president, was their crime? It don't look like it
Well, I
because
think
everything
that.
they were trying to prove, it wasn't true. Even Monica said, "I was never asked to do anything. I was trying to protect the president." And yo,
Well, he.
hold on. Let me
Okay,
give
I'm gonna take
Monica
a sip
her
of my water.
applause.
You know.
You don't gotta clap for Monica, but I do because man, talk about a fucking writer. Based on the show, again, I don't know how much of this is true and not true, but man, based on the show, Monica not only was the perfect side chick, Monica was the perfect writer. She's signing documents to save niggas. She's hiding gifts to save this
To what
dude.
end?
Oh my!
To
If
what
you
end?
ever,
No, because again, the relationship was predatory in nature, and that's why I cannot applaud it. Because yes, she did those things, but what else was she supposed to do? He was the president of the United States. She could
she
have
didn't
took,
have to do it. She could have thrown him completely under the bus, and a lot of women would. A lot of men would. Fuck that. I'm
but
not even gonna put it on women. A lot of people would,
but
and
you
she
were
did.
but you are sitting here in 2024 having this conversation. If we were back in the 1990s, this conversation is very different, and the way that people receive that is very different. Because remember, when we first started talking about this, we said that she was shamed. People
Yes.
didn't look at her like. I don't think people would have been so receptive to her. They would have said she ruined that man's life if she tried to be honest about it. I think
Oh
there would have been a
yes.
large
But that's
amount of
that's part of
people.
why I'm applauding her.
Yeah,
Monica held it down. Feds got her in the hotel. She's like, nah, I'm not doing it. It wasn't until niggas had the tapes that then she was like, all right, I just can't go to jail, but I'm still not gonna say anything
right,
that I don't gotta say. Like,
right. Meanwhile, he was just he all he was gonna do was save himself.
and listen, at that point, you gotta deny, deny, deny.
Right. Yep. Well,
It's foul, super foul. Let me be clear. I'm not saying I agree with what he did. Super foul. But what are you gonna do? You're gonna not be the president of the United States? You're gonna lose everything you and Hillary have worked to accomplish? No, deny, deny, deny. But they did do foul shit to Monica, and that I didn't like. Because it's one thing to deny, it's another thing to be like, oh yeah, she was a stalker. She kept coming to the office. Betty kept telling her to go home and she wouldn't. She became enamored with me. Like, you didn't have to shit on her like that. Denying is one thing, completely shitting on her is another. And see, and this is something I say a lot, and I'm gonna say it here. People like you, Bill, fuck it up for people like me. Because you out here with the ride or die side chick, doing all the fly shit for you and holding you down. And look what you do. You shit on her all over. You shit all over her in public. And so the next girl not gonna want to be a ride or die. Why would Monica go live life and be like, I'm gonna do all those things again? No. In fact, people watching the story are even probably thinking, this is why you don't do this for men.
right. And I think that sometimes, no matter how loyal you are to someone, it doesn't always go both ways.
No, clearly it doesn't.
That that was that was a huge problem here. That yes, she was willing to be loyal and she was willing to take it to her grave, but I mean, one, it wasn't possible. They had proof, but two, he was never going to just hand her that.
Right.
He had too much at stake, and this is why they tell you. This is why they tell you if you're gonna do it with somebody who has just as much to lose as you do. Now, in
Yep.
this case, she was willing to, you know, go along with whatever. But there's a lot of women who wouldn't have gone along with whatever and would have
Right.
tried to save themselves at some point. And how could you not? Because there was proof. It wasn't like just it was between me and it's me and Bill and that's it. And we're the only ones who know about this. That wasn't the case, unfortunately.
Right.
And she also, I mean, she really got the short end of the stick because it wasn't just Bill and the administration and all that was against her. But then you had this woman who you trusted
Yeah.
who put this whole thing in motion. And
For a book she never even got to write.
in hindsight, and this is why I mean, listen, making
She
friends
didn't even
at
get to do her book.
I know, making friends at work.
Yeah.
Y'all love to say,
Yo,
"Oh my
hold up,
gosh,
hold
y'all
up,
are like
hold up, hold up,
family."
hold up, hold up, hold up. He put a cigar in her pussy though?
So this has been weeknights.
No, don't do this. Don't do this. Yo, why would why would you put a cigar in her? She wasn't worried about an
Why would she
infection.
let him?
Wow, I just said that. She wasn't worried about getting an infection. She wasn't worried about the UTI.
There are a lot of objects that can be put in there. A
So
cigar is
many.
not one of them. A cigar, like of all the things.
And as soon as she said he put a cigar in me, I said, I already know what's coming next. I knew exactly what she was gonna say he did, exactly what she was gonna say he said, all of that. And shout out to the Drudge Report. Man, what a smart guy.
Yeah, yeah,
What a
yeah,
smart guy. Also foul, but what a smart guy.
yeah,
I did not know that. That was some smart shit right there. I said, man, this guy's digging in garbage cans. And then look at where he went. He went and became. What a smart guy to be one of the first people on the internet. Oh, and I really like also, real quick, I know we got to go. I also really like that they showed the ups and downs of the people in the news that were like chasing this story and trying to be on the front line, so to speak.
hmm
They're like, I've got all the tapes. I've got all the tapes. We're popping good wine. It's going to be crazy. And then they're like, this is the worst shit ever. This is terrible.
hmm
My God. I wish I didn't have to listen to this.
yeah,
So interesting seeing the highs and the lows and the person from Newsweek. He's like ready to put out his story. And she said, sometimes it's just not worth being first. Oh, I know he was crushed, man.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
he was crushed. So I thought they did a really good job. I thought they did a really good job with this show. Which I was excited that it was the same people who did the OJ one. Because the OJ one was really, really interesting. This one was interesting, but this one had me questioning more. This is the final thing I'll say.
hmm
Um, the OJ one seemed more believable to me. I think because this one had so many moving parts, I walked away thinking, but is all of this really how it went down? It feels like there's just so many questions. I feel like there's so many things you can question.
yeah,
Where the OJ story seemed more like, oh yeah, a lot of this seems like okay. This seems like I don't really got to question too much here. But with this story, it seemed like there's a lot of stuff still that you could question.
yeah. No, I understand that. Yeah, I think there are just different levels. That there's also just different levels when it comes to talking about a football player and talking about president of the United States. There was probably a lot that more that you were privy to. So when you're subconscious when you're watching it, you're like, "Oh, that makes sense. I remember that or whatever." You know
I
what?
think there were just also so many moving pieces in this story. There's like all these reporters, all these FBI agents, all these investigators, all these other women, right? And there's just so many different parts. It's like, all of this though. What
Yeah.
about this? What about that? Where OJ was more centered on OJ, right? Where this
Mhm.
this is
Yeah.
quote unquote the Monica Lewinsky story, but it's
But it's
not just the
everybody.
Monica Lewinsky story. There's like 20 people at least involved in this that there's like, well, what about this guy and this lawyer and this can star and this and all of these different things. Um, really interesting stuff.
Very interesting.
Like, where's the doc? I'd watch a doc about this.
I'm sure there's docs about this.
Yeah, I gotta find one. I would like to know more. I would like to see more actual tangible stuff.
Yeah.
Um, besides people who wrote a script. And shout out to FX and Hulu. This was a great show. When I saw 10 episodes, I thought it was too long, but no, it wasn't. The pacing was done well. They made sure to, wrap up all the storylines and stuff, and they did a great job.
I was glued to it every week. I was
Well,
watching it
that's part of why I watched it
every
so
week.
fast. It was good. If it sucked, it probably would have took me way longer.
Yeah.
But I watched it in like a week because I was like, oh man, this is good. One day I think I watched 2 episodes when I was off Sunday or Monday. I think Sunday I watched 2 episodes. Yeah, Sunday. My daughter went home early for Mother's Day. I didn't have any Mother's Day plans. I was home chilling. I said, all right, let me watch some of this Monica. And so I watched 2 episodes Sunday.
Yeah. I could see how you could just, fly through it. But
Yeah, it was good. So shout out to Hulu and FX. This was a good one.